Namaste. Good evening, everyone. Panchajanya, the divine conch of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, which was blown during Kurukshetra, indicating the start of the Dharma Yuddha that followed. There are all the efforts were done for the establishment of Dharma. Dharma was kept over personal relations and motives. Keeping the same motive in mind, our organization will work towards establishing the importance and necessity of following and imbibing the culture, accepting our roots and making people realize the true essence of Ayurveda, not only as a treatment modality, but also as a way of life. All these while walking in the path of Dharma. Hence the motto Shreyam Bharatiyam Arogyam Ayurvediyam. The founders of this organization started this because we felt the need to spread the knowledge of Bharatiya culture, Ayurveda, and its values to all the strata of people in every corner of the world. Also, the founders being Ayurveda aspirants know the inside out of today's medical field, hence, they aim to make people aware of this and also try their best to solve on this on the go. In order for all these to be achieved, we have set up various wings with working principles and objectives that help achieve the goals faster and easier in the coming years. They are the wings are Team Swami Vivekananda, Team Ashwinis, Team Veda Vyasa, Team Sanjaya and Nalanda. Coming back to the members involved in our organization, we have doctors, healthcare workers, teachers, students, and people from almost every single occupation available, aiming at working together and bringing forward the true essence of Bharat and her traditions. So, all those who fit under these categories are welcome with honor and privilege. Today, we are starting our lecture series Pragnavaridhi, which will be helping the first year students and the second year students who are studying for the exams uh, for the upcoming exams. Today, we have our Vaidya Sushma J P, currently working as a consultant to IR Central. Completed her BAMS in 2020, her MA in Sanskrit from Mukta Gangotri, Mysore. She has certified Yoga Alliance certified trainer. Previously worked at COVID care centers and Elite Ayurveda. Uh, in this session, she will be teaching about Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana from the first chapter to 12th chapter. We are glad to have you here, ma'am, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sneha, for this wonderful introduction about Panchajanya and also mine. So, we'll be starting today's lecture and we'll be covering two important chapters in this session. One is the Deerghanjeevithiya Adhyaya, which is the first chapter of Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana, and the 12th chapter of same Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana, which is Vatakalakaleeya Adhyaya. So, the point why we have taken two different chapters is one is the biggest chapter and another one is the small chapter, but quite important, of course. So, by combining these two, we are trying to just concisely brief you about the chapters and how we can move forward by learning the major concepts in these two chapters. Next slide, please, Neha.
Yes, ma'am.
Next slide, please. Yeah. So, whenever we understand the nomenclature or the naming of any chapters in Charaka Samhita, what we have to understand is the name of every single chapter is either named by the first topic explained in the whole chapter or the main point which is explained in the whole chapter. So, this chapter is named as Deerghanjeevithiya Adhyaya, which means Deergha Jivana. So the first word, which is called Deerghanjeevithiya, will always mean how to increase the lifespan of any human being. It is always mentioned in our ancient scriptures that Shatayurvai Purushaha. So the Ayu of any Purusha is 100 years. So increasing the lifespan of every person is the motto. And here the first chapter itself is about that, to increase the lifespan of any person. Also, we have always heard about Jeevema Sharada Shatam, which is a verse which is taken from worshipping Surya, which explains Jeevema Sharada Shatam. So the 100 years of our life has to be very calm and cool, and let us live together, is what the sentence says. So anywhere we go, it is always told that the ayus of any person is 100 years, and that has been varying since ages. In Kali Yuga, it was different. In Dwapara Yuga, it was different. In Treta Yuga, it was different. But in Kali Yuga, now it is said that the ayus of the person is for 100 years. So to attain this, whatever we do is explained under this Ayurveda complete Charaka Samhita. So the first chapter itself is explaining about Deerghajivana and how to attain Deerghajivana by following a certain practices, which are explained further. So the shloka says, Athato Deerghanjeevithiyam Adhyayam Vyakhyasiyamaha Itihasmaha Bhagavan Atreyaha. This kind of sentence you see at the start, at the beginning of every single chapter, because it is explained in in detail. So this is what it is. Next is this whole chapter is in question and answer format, and also in a certain places we also find narration format. So every single chapter, whenever you read, whenever you analyze the Samhita, you sometimes you see that it's a conversation between a guru and shishya. Some places you see it's a discussion between multiple rishis, and some places you just see the narration. The guru itself explains, the guru itself poses the question and he only answers. So it's kind of narration also in some places. So this particular chapter is in the format of question and answer format and also narration format. So now we have seen the first shloka, and the next shloka will always be about ayus. Whenever we say, okay, 100 years is the ayus, what is ayus? The same thing is also explained in Charaka Samhita Vimanasthana, third chapter, between 25 to 34 shloka. I said the ayush of the every single person changes according to the yugas. That has been mentioned in the between the shlokas of 25 to 34 in Vimanasthana, third chapter. So next, how is this Ayu dependent, and why? What is the relevance of Deerghajivana in terms of Ayurveda? It depends. The Ayu depends on the Yukti of any single person. How Yukti? Yukti is also dependent, or the Ayus is also dependent on the Bala or the Abalatva of Ayu. It is majorly dependent on Daiva and Purusha. Daiva is the Purva Karma, or the previous janma, whatever you have done, the phala of the Purva Karma is also done. Purva Janma is also there, and also the Purusha. It is equal 50-50. Your ayus will depend both on Daiva or the Purva Janma Krita, or in this Janma, whatever you are doing, the actions, whatever you do. So the Ayu depends on two, Daiva and Purusha. Daiva is not in our hands because it has already done, but Purusha is in our hands. Whatever we do will also have a major influence on our ayus. So this is what the Atreya, Rishi Atreya wants to explain to us in this whole chapter. Next slide, Sneha, please. Sorry, the previous one? No, the previous? Yeah. So when we see the chapter, the next point, whatever is explained, is about Ayurveda Avatarana. You might have heard in history of Ayurveda chapters and everywhere. Even in Ashtanga Hridaya, same kind of explanation of Ayurveda Avatarana is there. Even in Charaka Samhita, similar kind of an explanation is there. So I would not want to go very detail into this because we have some more important topics which has to be covered here. So Ayurveda Avatarana, grossly, if I have to say, Brahma, who recalled the Ayurveda, whatever was there, it was already with him. He explained to Daksha Prajapati, and then he explained to Ashwini Kumaras, and then from Ashwini Kumaras, Indra had learned, and to Indra, Bharadwaja Rishi went, and then he asked to explain about Ayurveda, and then Bharadwaja learned it, and Bharadwaja was the person who got Ayurveda from Devaloka to this Purushaloka, and once he came back to this world, he explained it to Punarvasu Atreya, and then Punarvasu Atreya explained it to his 6 of his Shishyas, which are Agnivesha, Bhela, Jatukarna, Parashara, Harita, and Sharapani. Each one of them wrote their own treatises, their own Samhitas, and then that is all available with us as either Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, Harita Samhita, Parashara Samhita, and a few more. So this is how Ayurveda Avatarana happened. But this Ayurveda Avatarana is a major question. You can expect it for 5-mark question, or even sometimes like for 15-mark question combined with any other possible questions, or to even explain the whole Deerghanjeevithiya Adhyaya for just 15-mark question. So this is most important. And next one, whenever we have heard about Ayurveda so many times from the beginning of the chapter, what is Ayurveda? What does it contain is the question here. Ayurveda Shabda Nirupti happens like Hitahitam Sukham Dukkham Ayuhu Tasya Hitahitam Manam Cha Tacha Yatroktam Ayurvedaha Sa Uchyate. Hita and Ahita, whatever is that. Hita is good, Ahita is not good. Sukha is happiness, Dukkha is unhappy, being unhappy. All these are explained. And then about Ayu, which the Ayu, which is either good or bad, happy or unhappy, is all explained in one place about how it has to be, what all should be done to have a good life, a better life, a happy life, or whatever you should not do to lead to end up in a bad life or in a worst kind of condition. All these rules and regulations have been explained under Ayurveda, and this whole treatise or whatever is explained is called as Ayurveda. That is what the shloka means. So whenever we hear about this Ayurveda, Veda is something which is written, Veda is something which is ancient. Okay, Veda is something whatever is just written by our Maharshis and Rajarshis and Rishimunis and everyone. But what is Ayu? We have heard that Ayu is something, it is like for 100 years, the lifespan is 100 years. But is that the only thing which Ayu means? I don't think so. Even Maharshi Atreya and Agnivesha also agrees upon the same thing. Can we get the next slide, please? Yeah. So Lakshana of Ayu or Lakshana of Ayu. What is Ayu? Veda we have heard, we have understood. But what is Ayu? We know it is 100 years. The Ayu means Sharira, Indriya, Sattva, Atma. And the samyoga of all of these 4, Sharira, Indriya, Sattva, and Atma. Sharira, Indriya, Sattva, Atma, Samyogo. So the combination of all of these 4 components is called Ayu, and the synonyms are Dhari, Jeevitam, Nityaga, and Anubandha. So 4 components and 4 synonyms in this particular shloka. Sharira, Indriya, Sattva, and Atma Samyoga is the Ayu, and the synonyms are Dhari, Jivita, Nityaga, and Anubandha. These are the Paryaya Vachis of Ayu. So we have learned Ayu, we have learned Veda, we understood both. So whatever is explained to get Hita, Hitam, Sukham, Dukkham, Ayu, Tasya, Hita, Hitam, and everything is okay. But what do we have to do? What is the use of learning such an Ayurveda or understanding such Ayurveda? Is 3 uses. It is all scattered in the first chapter itself. One is in the first 43 shloka and the other one is in the 53rd shloka. I've just noted down here. 3 uses majorly. It is the Punyatama Veda is what the author says. Punyatama Veda. See, there's Taratama Bhava, like positive, comparative, and superlative degrees, as we say in English. So this Punyatama is that superlative degree. That is Tama Bhava. There is nothing beyond. This is Punyatama. There is nothing beyond this Veda. This is what is the first benefit of Ayurveda, learning Ayurveda. And the second one is where all it is used. It is used in Ubhaya Loka. First one is Ihaloka and the second one is Paraloka. Ihaloka is this, whatever we are living in this Loka, with all people in cars and everything. This is Ihaloka. And Paraloka is something beyond our Loka, which can be considered as Devaloka, whatever. That's out of our question. But the uses of Ayurveda is in two lokas and not three. Generally, it is triloka, whatever we say, but here the uses of Ayurveda is only two. This is an MCQ question for your AIUPGET. Lokayor ubhayor hitam, it is used in two lokas, Ihaloka and Paraloka. And then the last use is Dhatu Samya Kriya Chokta Tantrasyasya Prayojanam. This tantra is used in getting in the balance of all the dhatus. Dhatu Samya Kriya. To get the balance of all the dhatus in the body, we use Ayurveda. Next slide, please. Sneha, can I get next slide, please? Okay, well, we'll continue. So we have learned about the Ayu Lakshana, the Lakshana of Ayu, and we have also understood about the uses of Ayurveda in three major steps. Then what is explained is the very important concepts, which are very basic concepts, which we have to learn and remember until the time we keep practicing Ayurveda, either clinically or theoretically. So the first one is Tridanda Ayurveda. You might have all heard this. Tridanda, that is Sattva, Atma, and Sharira. Tridanda is the three major pillars of the life. Tridanda, three danda is pillars. Sattva, Atma, and Sharira. If any of the following, if any of the three concepts or the three components get deranged in the body, then is when a person ends up in disease. So that is Tridanda, Sattva, Atma, and Sharira. So whenever you see these, see the pattern of categorization, it's majorly 3-3-3. So what we have to understand is three majorly. That is Tridanda, Sattva, Atma, and Sharira. So next in the chapter, what we have is Samanya, Vishesha, Samavaya, Dravya, Guna, and Karma. So the 6 components here. So the first one is Dravya, whatever it is explained. Dravya about the Sangraha, Dravya Sangraha, and Dravya Bheda is what is here. So yeah, Dravya Sangraha is Khadinyatma Manaha Kalo, Dishashcha Dravya Sangraha. So there are 9 Dravya Sangraha, which are Khadini, like Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, and Prithvi. Khadini. Kha is Akasha. The synonym of Akasha is Kha. Kha Adi is the Kha and etc. which are Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, and Prithvi. The 5 Khadini. Atma is the 6th one. Manas is the 7th one. Kala, 8th one. Disha is the 9th one. So there are 9 Dravya Sangrahas. I mean, Dravya Sangraha is a combination of all Dravyas, whatever is available in the whole world. This is considered as to be the Dravya Sangraha, so which are called Khadinyatma, Manaha, Kalo, Dishascha, Dravya Sangraha. These are the categorization, and there is nothing beyond this. Whenever you see anything, you see a water bottle, you see a medicine, you see a kashaya, or you see a tablet, or you see the diet lifestyle, whatever it is all Khadini, Atma, Mana, Kala, Disha. And this is all about the Dravya Sangraha. There is nothing which goes beyond this. Whatever you see can be the components in the Dravya Sangraha. So this is of 2 types. Dravya Bheda. Dravya Bheda, you will be able to see multiple Dravya Bhedas, which are according to their Prabhava, according to their Guna, according to their multiple options. But here we have one such Dravya Bheda, which is Chetana and Achetana Dravya. Chetana is what is a Dravya which has life, and Achetana Dravya is which does not have life. This is a very gross categorization or the Dravya Bheda. And explaining about the dravya definition, it is yatra ashritaha karma gunaha karanam samavayi yat tat dravyam. So there is one dravya, there is something which is the ashrita, or which is the place where the karma and guna are in samavayi karana. Samavayi karana is where you cannot separate the both. You cannot separate the karma and guna from any one particular component. So that is called dravya. So any dravya which contains its karma, it has its own karma, it possesses its own guna, is called a dravya. Neither, if you take out karma, there is no dravya. If you take out guna, there is no dravya. So these two are always in samavai karana, which means a, a perfect combination, amalgamation to say. This is called dravya. The types we saw, chetana and achetana dravya in this particular context, and dravya sangraha we have seen, khadini atma manah kalo dishascha dravya sangraha. Next, after dravya, the next point is guna. Guna, what is guna? Guna is samavayitu nischeshtaha karanam gunaha. Samavayitu nischeshtaha karanam gunaha. Any particular karana without expressing itself, it cannot stay. Any particular dravya has to express itself, has to have its own kind of characters, its own lakshanas, its own specific specifications to say, which is called guna. Samavayitu nischeshtaha karanam gunaha. Whatever will be completely dependent on dravya is also called as guna. It is one nischeshta, and it cannot move. It cannot move on its own. It does need something to latch on and then only do its function. And also it is a karana. It is karana dravya. It will have some or the other action. So it has two lakshanas. One is it is karana dravya, and also it is nischeshta. And these two characters will lie in particular dravya, and that is called guna. So the types of guna are Akashadi, Guruvadi, Buddhi Prayatnanta gunas, and Paradi gunas. Total of 41 gunas are explained in Charaka Samhita. This could be either your 2 mark question, or this could also be your AIUP question, because every single author has put his own approaches in explaining about guna, dravya, karma, samavai, samanya, and vishesha. The number differs between two authors. So this is a major question which you can expect and confuse you at the time of your examinations. So Akashadi Guna is Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, and Guruvadi Gunas are those 20 gunas what you know: Guru, Laghu, Shita, Ushna, Snigdha, Drava, Pichila, and Khara, Vishada, all those 20 gunas. Buddhi Prayatnanta gunas are Ichha, Dvesha, Sukha, Dukha, Prayatna, and Buddhi. And Paradi gunas are Para, Apara, Yukti, etc. So this is about guna and its bheda. Guna is samavaitu nischeshtaha karanam gunaha, and its bheda are 41 of total in Charaka Samhita, and it differs in different contexts and in different texts. Next, we have completed dravya and guna. Next is karma. Samyogecha vibhagecha karanam dravyam ashritam kartavyasya kriya karma karmananyad apekshate. So this is an important shloka which you'll have to explain whenever it is explained, whenever you are asked about karma. Whenever there has to be any samyoga, any combination or vibhaga, any disintegration, there has to be one reason. There has to happen some particular process due to which this samyoga or vibhaga is happening, and this is particularly staying in dravya. It takes ashraya of any dravya. So it is a karana dravya, and it is also taken ashraya in dravya. Again, two major components. And this karma, whatever it does, is anything which has to happen through this, and it does not need any karya or karanadravya or kala or akala or whatever it is. It is karma na anyad apekshate. It will not need any other kala. It will not need any other characters. It will not need any other components supporting it, but it will just act on its own. It does not expect any other things. Samyogetsa vibhagetsa. If these two things has to happen, there has to be something, and that is called karma. And this karma is a karana dravya, and it takes its ashraya in dravya. So after this karma, we have samavaya. Samavayo aprathak bhavo bhumyadinam gunairmatah sanityo yatra hi dravyam na tatra niyato gunaha. So whenever you see any particular component, any particular dravya, it has a particular character which cannot be separated from that. Say for example, the liquidity of water, it cannot be separated. Say about the spiciness of the chili, it cannot be separated. If you separate, it's not that. If you separate the spiciness of chili from itself, from the chili itself, the chili does not remain itself as chili. If you take out the stickiness of aloe vera, the aloe vera does not become aloe vera, it becomes something else. So this guna, or is this particular some character, bhava of any character, of any dravya, if it is in samavai karana, if it is so attached to the dravya, then it's called samavaya. This complete amalgamation of two characters or two different components is called samavaya. If, for example, we take out the saltiness from the salt does not remain as salt, it just becomes some powder, right? So this salt, the saltiness and some powder is in samavai karana to become a salt. So this process or this connection is called samavaya. And also this has two lakshanas again. It is nitya. You mean to say it is forever. As I told you, if it has changed, it is lost. But it cannot change. It stays forever. So it is nitya. And if it is aniyata, if it becomes aniyata, then it's not in samavai karana. So this any bhumyadinam gunaihi, any bhumyadi gunas, if they are in samavai karana with any particular guna, then it is being in a combination of samavai guna. And then next we have the concept of samanya and vishesha siddhanta, which is again back in the 44th shloka here. Sarvada sarvabhavanam samanyam vridhi karanam rasa hetur visheshascha pravrittir ubhayasyatu. This is again a 2-mark question, samanya and vishesha siddhanta. This is just a definition of samanya and vishesha siddhanta. Sarvada sarvabhavanam samanyam vridhi karanam rasa hetuhu visheshascha pravrittir ubhayasyatu. So there are two things which can happen in one particular bhava, or either in dravya, guna or karma. Anything can happen. Two things can happen. One is vriddhi and the other one is rasa. Vriddhi is because of the similarities and rasa is because of the dissimilarities. So when there are multiple friends with similar thoughts, then it is vriddhi. There is increasing factors. But as and when the friends become low and as and when their frequency does not match, the group reduces, and this is called rasa. So vriddhi or rasa in either the concepts of dravya, guna or karma. And this rasa or vriddhi will happen in the body whenever there is samanya or visheshakara bhavas, which are given externally or which are acquired internally also. Sarvada sarva bhavanam samanyam vridhi karanam. Always for any particular bhava, there are two things which can happen. One is samanya, which causes vridhi, and hrasa hetuhu visheshascha. If there is any difference, there can be hrasa, and this is uh, just a normal process which happens in the sharira. Sneha, next slide, please. So until now we have dealt until 53 shlokas on the first chapter. Next, coming to the 54th shloka, which explains the Trividha Hetu. This is very, very important when it is in the practical aspects when you're practicing, because whatever the patient comes to you, they'll have any of these or maybe all of these hetus, which can happen either in Kala, Buddhi or Indriya. Kala Buddhindriyarthanam yogo mithya nachati cha dvayashrayanam vyadhinam trividho hetu sangraha. So there are three factors which can go wrong. One is Kala, the other one is Buddhi, and the other one is Indriya. Any in these three, if there is Mithya Yoga or irrational usage, Ayoga or reduced usage, or Ati Yoga or increased usage, if these three things are happening, Mithya Yoga, Ayoga, and Ati Yoga, if these three things are happening with respect to Kala, Buddhi, and Indriya, then there is always a chance of the body or mind ending up in a disease. Kala buddhindriyarthanam yogo mithya na chaticha dvayashrayanam vyadhinam. If any of these combinations happen, if either mithya yoga of Kala, mithya yoga of Buddhi, mithya yoga of Indriya, ayoga of Kala, ayoga of Buddhi, ayoga of Indriya, ati yoga of Kala, ati yoga of Buddhi, ati yoga of Indriya. If any of these combination happens, then immediately a person ends up in a disease. So because they end up in disease, it is also an ashrayasthana of dukkha. Also, because if it is managed in samyak yoga, then it is the ashrayasthana for sukha. If you take care of proper time, if you have proper intellect, and if you indulge in proper activities of your body, then you end up in sukha. But irrational usage or reduced usage or excessive usage of this will obviously end you up in a disease or vyadhi. Next, now we have understood about the body and mind. Some places we have also got about Atma also, Sattva, Atma and Sharira, whatever we said as Tridanda. Now we are studying about Atma. Atma Parichaya is happening here. Nirvikaraha Parastvatma Sattva Bhuta Gunendriyaihi Chaitanye Karanam Nityo Drashta Pashyati Hi Kriyaha. Atma is Nirvikara. It does not have any changes or any faults or any lacunas. It is Para. It is the best. There is nothing like least Atma or anything. It is the best of all. It will always take the Chetana along with the Manas and Indriya. Nirvikarah parastvatma sattva-bhuta gunendriyaihi chaitanye karanam nityo drashta pashyati hi kriyaha. Atma is first of all nirvikara, it is para, and this Atma will take the manas, the bhutadi gunas, I mean the shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, and also the indriyas, along with the chetana. It will give the chetana to all of these three things, and then it becomes a karana dravya for all of these three things to connect with each other and then produce drashta and then become the drashta. ये नित्य तथा दृष्टा होकर समस्त क्रियाओं को देखता है. So there is a separate axis for the bhutadi gunas, and there is a separate axis for manas, and there is separate indriyas. So the only thing which connects these three is atma, the connector of sattva, bhuta, and indriyas. The manas, the bhutadi gunas, and the indriyas. The connector of all of these three things is called atma. If there is any deviation of, if there is no manas involved in a person, then he is not a human being. He is not a drashta. He is not legible, or he is not able to understand a few things. If his indriyas are not working, then he cannot listen, or then he cannot understand so many things. And if his bhutadi gunas, the shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha, is not acting, then also he is not able to understand so many things. He is not a drashta. But only when these three things, which are sattva, bhuta, and gunendriya, is together and is connected by atma, he becomes a drashta. Next, now that we have understood the body, the mind, and the atma and everything, it is time for us to understand the dosha bheda, the doshas in the body. The sharirika doshas are vata, pitta, and kapha, and the manasika doshas are rajas and tamas. So 3 sharirika doshas and 2 manasika doshas. Whenever they ask manasika doshas, it is very easy for us to get confused and write sattva, rajas, and tamas. But sattva is not manasika dosha. The manasika doshas are only rajas and tamas. This is a major point where you can be caught hold of either in Viva Vos or in your 2-mark questions. Vata, Pitta, and Kapha are the sharirika doshas, and rajas and tamas are the manasika doshas. A very important point, small point, but quite important. Next, we have Chikitsa Sutra for Sharirika and Manasika doshas, which is Prashamyat Yoshadhaihi Purvo Daiva Yukti Vyapashrayaihi. मनसो ज्ञान विज्ञान धैर्य स्मृति समाधिभिः विपरीत गुणैर्दोषैः मात्रा कालोपपादितैः भेषजैर्विनिवर्तन्ते विकाराः साध्य सम्मताः. So these are 2 different shlokas, but they are explaining about the major chikitsa sutra, the important chikitsa sutra for either sharirika doshas or manasika doshas. So the first shloka, which it explains prashamyati aushadhaihi purve, aushadhaihi first, Daiva second, Yukti is third. So we have Daiva Vyapashraya Chikitsa, we have Yukti Vyapashraya Chikitsa, and we have Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa. The 3 things that can be your friends for lifetime whenever you practice Ayurveda is these 3: Daiva Vyapashraya Chikitsa, Yukti Vyapashraya Chikitsa, and Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa. Where Daiva Vyapashraya Chikitsa is all about money, mangala, puja, bali, homa, yajna, yaga, etc. And Yukti Vyapashraya Chikitsa is about aushadhis, whatever you use your yukti, and then prescribe the aushadhi or ahara or vihara or any other combinations that you can do. Ahara, vihara, and aushadhi comes under Yukti Vyapashraya Chikitsa. And the third point is Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa, which is explained in the second line of 58th shloka, which is Manaso Jnana Vijnana Dhairya Smriti Samadhibhihi. These all 3 components of Daiva Vyapashraya, Yukti Vyapashraya, and Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa could be used in any level of any severity or any stage of the disease, depending on the condition and depending on the rogi, roga, kala, and other major factors which can influence the treatment protocols. So prashamyati aushadhaihi purvo daiva yukti vyapashrayaihi manaso jnana vijnana dhairya smriti samadhibihi. This we have understood. The next shloka, which is 62nd shloka, is viparita gunair doshaihi viparita gunaihi desha matra kalopapaditai भेषजैर् विनिवर्तन्ते विकाराः साध्य sammataah. So what does this 63rd shloka explain to us is whenever you have to treat any particular patient, then you have to consider his desha, matra, viparita gunaihi of desha, matra, kala, guna, and aushadha samyoga. So whenever you're treating any patient, it is viparita guna, dosha, viparita guna, desha, matra, and kala. And with considering all of these four factors, you make a combination of bheshaja, and then vikaras will undergo shamana. And this is how sadhya rogas are treated. Asadhya rogas, it is not explained because they are anyways asadhya. Sadhanam na tu asadhyanam vyadhinam upadishyate. Na tu asadhyanam vyadhinam upadishyate, which explains that asadhya vyadhis are not explained here, but sadhya vyadhis can be treated by considering four things: viparita guna, desha, matra, and kala. These four things, when taken into consideration and when the bheshaja is given to the body, the vikaras will undergo shamana, is what the author tries to explain to us in this particular two shlokas, the Chikitsa Sutra of Sharira and Manoroga. And then after this shloka, what we have is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, the gunas of all the three doshas. Vata has Ruksha, Shita, Laghu, Sukshma, Chala, and Vishadha, Khara. This all can be Sharirika expressions. These gunas can be expressed either physically or mentally, or whenever you just talk to the patient, you'll be able to understand. They might express any of these characters either physically or mentally or through their verbal expressions. Then pitta doshas will have, it is tasneha, ushna, tikshna, drava, amla, sara, and katu. These are the lakshanas of pitta. And the kapha lakshanas are guru, shita, mrudu, snigdha, madhura, sthira, pichila. These are the lakshanas of kapha. And whatever opposite qualities are there according to the doshas, they will help in reducing that particular dosha. I mean, it will help in dosha prashamana. If there is dosha prakopa, then it helps in dosha prashamana. But it also explains to you that if any of these lakshanas are reduced also, then also you can use the same qualities using the Samanya Vishesha Siddhanta. You just provide the same quality food, ahara, vihara, and aushadha to the particular patient, and you will be able to see that the doshas are increasing to its normal states. If there is increased doshas, we reduce it. If the doshas are reduced, we try to increase it through ahara, vihara, and aushadha. Also, daiva vyabhashraya and satvavajaya chikitsa. This is how it is understood through the practical applications. But when you write in your exams, this could also be a 2-mark question or sometimes even a 5-mark question. And after this, all we have is the explanation of other multiple concepts, which are Rasa Lakshana and Bheda in the shlokas of verses 64 and 65. Rasa Lakshana is Rasanartho Rasastasya Dravyamapaha Kshitistatha Nirvrittau cha Visheshe cha Pratyayaha Khadayastrayaha. This particular shloka is 64, which says Rasana is the tongue. Rasana, whatever the thing which is understood through this rasana is called rasa. Grahya Vishaya of this rasana is rasa, and this has the predominance of Jala and Prithvi Mahabhuta. And whenever you understand the rasa nirvritti happens through Prithvi Pradhana Karana, and also the Vishesha Jnana is Akasha, Vayu, and Agni, which is Apradhana. So whenever we say there is predominance, it doesn't mean that the whole rasa is only made up of Jala and Prithvi Mahabhuta. They do have the other components of Akasha, Vayu, and Agni, but these are Apradhana Karana, but Pradhana Karanas are Jala and Prithvi. So the predominants are Jala and Prithvi. The other factors that are there is also Akasha, Vayu and Agni, but in very little quantities. This is about the rasa. And the Bheda is again 6 types. Shad rasa, as we all know. Swadu, Amla, Lavana, Katu, Tikta evacha. Kashayascheti Shatkoyam, Rasanam, Sangraha, Smritaha. Swadu, Amla, Lavana, Katu, Tikta, Kashaya. There are 6 rasas, which we already know. And the effect of these shadrasas on the Tridosha is a very, very important question for your exams, Viva Vos, and also practical whenever you start your practice. Swadu Amla Lavana Vayum Kashaya Swadu Tiktakaha Jayanti Pittam Shleshmanam Kashaya Katu Tiktakaha Katu Amla Lavanaha Pittam Swadvamla Lavanaha Kafam Katu Tikta Kashayascha Kopayanti Samiranam. There are 2 shlokas which are 66 and 67 of the first chapter in Sutra Samhita, which explains about what rasas will increase what doshas and what will reduce the but what will help in dosha prashamana. So to give a brief explanation to explain what happens actually, Madhura rasa will help in Vata Pitta Shamana, but will help in Kapha Prakopana. This can also be understood as it will balance. Whatever is increased will decrease when we say Dosha Prashamana. Whatever is reduced will increase when we say Dosha Prakopana. Or also, whatever is in the normalcy can also increase when we say Dosha Prakopana. Whatever is normal can also go down when we say Dosha Prashamana. Reduce and increase either from the state of normalcy or abnormalcy. So the Madhura Rasa will help in Dosha Samana of Vata Pitta and will cause Kapha Prakopa. Amla Rasa. Amla Rasa will help in Dosha Shamana of Vata and Dosha Prakopana of Pitta and Kapha. Lavana Rasa will help in Vata Shamana and Pitta Kapha Prakopana. Katu Rasa, Kapha Shamana and Pitta Vata Prakopana. Tikta Rasa will help in Pitta Kapha Shamana and Vata Prakopana. Kashaya Rasa will help in Pitta Kapha Shamana and Vata Prakopana. This you can just make a small tabular column and understand what doshas will have what particular Panchamahabhuta predominance, and depending on that you can also make another row which explains about dosha samana and dosha prakopana, what rasa will increase what and decrease what, and it has the predominance of which Mahabhuta. Just make a small tabular column and note down. This is a good point to glance at the end point of your time for good revision. Next, Dravya Bheda based on their actions, origin, and its categorization. This concept will go into like about 20 or 30 shlokas in this chapter itself. We'll just see briefly about what happens here. Now we are dealing with the 68th shloka of the first chapter, Sutrasthana. Kinchit dosha prashamanam, kinchit dhatu pradushanam, swastha vrittau matam kinchit, trividham dravyam uchyate. So there are 3 types of dravya based on the action of dravya here. Classification of dravya based on the action here, or prabhava or karma, what we could say. Dosha prashamana, dhatu pradushana, and swasthavritta, which can maintain the swasthata of the person, which can increase the dosha, which can do the pradushana of dhatu, and the third one being maintaining the swasthyata of the person. And then we have categorization of dravya according to its origin. Origin of any dravya is of 3 types here: Jangama, Udbidha, and Parthiva, which is explained in the first half of the 69th shloka. Tat punastrividham gneyam, Jangama, Udbhava, Udbidha, Parthivam. 3 again: origin, Jangama, Udbidha, and Parthiva. Jangama is Jangama dravyas are something which keep moving, which can move, or which could be say like Pashu, Pakshi, etc., or insects or whatever it is. And again, these are of again 4 types: Jarayuja, Andaja, Svedaja, and Audbija. sorry, three, Jarayuja, Andaja, and Swedaja. Udbija, anyways, comes in the other Udbidha category. So the first one is Jangama. Jangama is any animals, which has again three categories: Jarayuja, Andaja, and Swedaja. Next, the second origin was Udbidha. Udbidha, Ut is the mud or bhumi. Udbidha is called Udbidha, whatever is grown out of the mud is called Udbidha, and Udbidha is, for example, any trees or shrubs or herbs or whatever it is. It could be the usage of parts or the leaves, flower, Tuak, Mula, or the Sara, or whatever can be used, is all of these things. So, Jangama is anything that moves around. It could have the origin of Jarayuja, Andaja, or Swedaja, which uh, grows from Jarayu or the membrane or the amnious membrane. Andaja is whatever is born through the eggs, and Swedaja is whatever born through the spit. These three are coming under Jangama, and Audbidha is something which is born out of the mud, and these are any trees, fruits, flowers, Tuvak, Antasara, etc. And Parthiva is that which is got from the earth or got from mining. This could be any ratna, gandhaka, suvarna, etc. metals, or any other which is got from deep down the earth, which is mined and then has to be taken, or which has to be processed to get that small content of uh, particle which can be used. So this does not grow, but it is just gotten from the Prithvi. So that's why it's called Parthiva. So we have understood Dravya Bheda in this third point, this third category. The first category was Chetana and Achetana in the initial stage. The second category was based on the action, Dosha Prashamana, Dhatu Pradushana, and Swasthavrata. And the third category, whatever we have understood, is depending on the origin, which are Jangama, Udbhida, and Parthiva. Next, in the chapter, we understand what all are the Jangama Dravyas which are used in the Chikitsa. It is Madhu, Gorasa, Pitta, Vasa, Majja, Rakta, Mamsa, Mala, Mutra, Charma, Virya, Asthi, Snayu, Nakha, Khura, Kesha, Roma, Rochana, etc. Whatever is gotten from the Jangama Dravyas are listed here, and what can be used for Chikitsa. What are the probable things that can be gotten from the Jangama Dravya into our Chikitsa and which can be used as a Bheshaja is listed here in the Shloka 69 and 70. And Parthiva Ausada Dravyas, which can be used in the Bheshaja, is explained in the Shloka 71. And the examples are Suvarna, Panchaloha, Sikata, Sudha, Manashila, Mani, different varieties of Mani, Lavana, Gairika, Anjana, etc. The other examples which can be used of Parthiva Dravyas which can be used as Bheshaja is listed in the shloka number 72 and 73. The list goes on like Vanaspati, Vanaspatya, Aushadha, Virudha. So the explanation is given in the verses of 72 and 73 of chapter 1, Sutrasthana. Again, we have other explanations of different dravyas which are moolini or which have the usage, the Udbida dravyas or Udbida dravyas are whatever is grown from the mud. So this Udbida dravyas are utilized in multiple levels, Tuvak, Sara, Pushpa, Phala, and Patra, and etc. All of these are categorized depending upon the useful part of that particular herb. Say if you take a plant, it has Mula, it has Kanda, it has Mula, Tvak Mula, it has Kanda, it has Kanda Tvak, it has Patra, it has Phala, it has Pushpa, it has any exudates, whatever are these from the plant, These are categorized into the major useful part of every particular herb. It is categorized as Mulini Dravya, which are the dravyas which has the major importance or major utilization from its root, Mulini. Phalini Dravyas, in which the phala of a particular herb is used. And Mutra, from even Jangama Dravyas. Mutra, whatever the varieties of Mutra is available, the gunas of them, the list of them, and Lavana, whatever is available, either from Audbidha or Parthiva, whatever the Lavana is obtained. Sneha, different origin of Sneha is the Sarpi, Taila, Vasa or Majja, whatever is available, however it is used. It is just briefly explained the gunas, the possible karmas of every single mild usages of everything is explained in this, the next 20 to 30 slokas. So you can go through that. It's just about making the list of it and understanding their dravyas and whatever is important in that, or maybe like understanding whatever is the pradhana dravya. Say for example, it is mutra. Which mutra is Jivaniya, which mutra can be used regularly, could be the question. If there is lavana, which lavana is the best to use, or which combination of lavana is the best to use, or whenever you say for say probably for shodhana, what dravya is majorly used. This is just to give you a brief introduction about whatever is going to happen next in the further chapters. They have just briefed you. Make a list of Falini dravyas and its karma, whatever is best. Mulini dravyas, whatever is it is karma is, and the best one. Lavana, whatever the karmas of it, lakshanas of it, and the best one. Mutra, whatever is the best available mutras, what can be used. Make a list, and that could be a good take at a glance kind of notes for you. And the important thing out of all of these 20 to 30 slokas where this dravyas and its gunas and karmas are explained is you may get it for your AIPGT questions, or maybe in 2 mark question to explain about Phalini Dravya, or explain about the Panchalavana, or explain about the Tvak or of any particular dravya. If this is the question, then it can be for 2 mark question. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about this, because later on you will be dealing with every single dravya, its dravya, guna, karma, everything, prabhava, rasa, virya, vipaka, everything. This is just a brief introduction for you so that you don't just feel bombarded with the further explanations given in the further chapters. So next we directly skip on to the 121 shloka number of Deerghanjeevithiya Adhyaya Sutrasthana, which explains us about the Aushadhi Jnata and importance of complete understanding. Aushadhi Jnata is some person who knows about Aushadhi, or who just can identify the Aushadhi, which are Oshadhir Namarupabhyam Janate Hyajapavane Avipaschaiva Gopascha Ye Chanye Vanavasinaha. So this Aushadhi Jnata, or whoever knows about Aushadhi, is of 3 kinds. One is Ajapa, or whatever Aja is goat, or so first one is this Ajapa, is this Avipa, whoever takes care of the cows, sorry, goats, and Gopa, whoever takes care of the cow. So whoever takes care of the Aja, Avi, and Go are the 3 people, and whoever is Vanavasis, they will be able to understand the Nama and Rupa about every single Oshadhi which is present in the whole world, because it it is the place where they go every single day and they keep looking at it. They might start experimenting with some particular thing. They might taste it. They might understand the rasa, virya, vipaka of it, or they might understand the effect of it sometimes. So they are the persons who are called aushadhi gnatas. But then just knowing that is not sufficient for us, because we also need to understand the prabhava. So that is explained in the shloka number 122. न नामज्ञानमात्रेण रूपज्ञानेन वा पुनः औषधीनां परां प्राप्तिं कश्चिद् वेदितुम् अर्हति. Only with nama rupa jnana you cannot understand the aushadhi, because the rasa, virya, vipaka, prabhava of every single dravya is different and can only be understood by continuous reading of the shastras, is what the author is trying to tell us in this particular context. Sneha, next slide, please. The last few concepts which are explained in this chapter is the qualities of Bhishak. Why the author is telling us the qualities of Bhishak here itself is because if we do not know what a Bhishak has to be or how a Bhishak has to be, we cannot read further. And if we do not have any goal of how we have to become, there is no path which can be found out. So the author says qualities of Bhishak here in the shloka number 123. योगमासां तु यो विद्यात् देशकालोपपादितं पुरुषं पुरुषं वीक्ष्य स ज्ञेयो भिषगुत्तमः. An uttama bhishak is the one who is like the utmost person in bhishak quality, is the person who can understand purusham viksha. He has to see every single person, understand the purusha, and then only plan up his treatment by considering the factors of desha and kala. Yogam asam to yo vidyat. Whoever combines or whoever treats with consideration of desha and kala, and who can understand the purusha by examining him and only then prescribing them, only can become a uttama bhishak, is the opinion of this author here. Next, okay, they have said about the qualities of Bhishak. They have told you what you have to do and what you have to be, what is our goal now. But they also give us some beautiful cautions, which I don't think so any other systems of science, any other medical systems can explain. There are three beautiful shlokas here. Shloka number 124, 126, and 128, which I have mentioned, but the other ones are also regarding the same thing. Yatha visham, yatha shastram, yathagne rashanir yatha, tathaushadham avignatam, vignatam amritam yatha. So there are two things, jnata and agnyata. A person, a bhishak, whoever explains or whoever prescribes the medicines without having any knowledge will become that particular medicine will become visha, or like a shastra or agni. Visha, shastra, agni, and shani is vajra here. So visha, shastra, and agni is very dangerous weapons in the whole world. Whenever you see avignata aushadha becomes like visha, shastra, agni, and ashini here, avignata aushadha, but vignata aushadha, with proper knowledge of the medicine and of the rogi, of the roga, everything, if the person is prescribed any medicines, that medicine will become amrita. So yatha visham, yatha shastram, yatha agnihi, ashanihi yatha, tatha aushadham avignatam. Avignata aushadha will be considered as visha, shastra, agni, or ashini, but vignata aushadha will turn into amrita. Next, skipping on to shloka number 126. Yeah. Yogadapi visham tikshnam uttamam bheshajam bhavet. Bheshajam chapi duryuktam tikshnam sampadyate visham. Whenever योगादपि विषं तीक्ष्णम् उत्तमं भेषजं भवेत् भेषजं चापि दुर्युक्तं तीक्ष्णं सम्पद्यते विषं, which means whenever a medicine is used, it has to be used according to the proper usage of tikshna, ushna, gunas and dravyas and karma and everything. If by chance, by combining different aushadhis, there can be a possibility that a tikshna visha is produced, and this kind of yoga is not advisable to be given. Yogat api visham tikshnam uttamam bheshajam bhavet. Yogat, by some combination, oshadhi, if any aushadhis is combined, then the tikshna visha will also be turning into uttama aushadha. But any other bheshajam chapi duryuktam, if the yoga is not proper, without any yukti, if the yoga combination has happened, then it will turn into visha. If there is proper utilization of even tikshna visha, any particular yoga will become a bheshaja. But with improper utilization of any yogas, it becomes into visha. This is the explanation for one shloka number 126. And then we skip on to the shloka 128. कुर्यात् निपातितो मूर्ध्नि सशेषं वासवाशनिः सशेषमातुरं कुर्यात् न तु अग्न्यं मतं औषधम्. This is a shloka which explains about Murkha Vaidya, how a Murkha Vaidya has to be rejected. This says that even Kuryat Nipatito Murdhni Sashesham Vasavashanihi Sashesham Aturam Kuryat Natu Agnyam Atam Aushadham. Even if the Ashini or the Vajrayudha falls on the head of any particular person, maybe there is a chance that he can survive, but Natu Agnatam Aushadham Natu Agnyam Atam Aushadham. If a medicine is given without any complete knowledge, then there is no chance that a person can survive even on the later part. And then again about the Murkha Vaidya itself. Tyakta dharmasya papasya mrityu bhutasya durmatehe naro narakapati syat tasya sambhashanadapi. This is explained in the shloka number 130. त्यक्तधर्मस्य पापस्य मृत्युभूतस्य दुर्मतेः नरो नरकपाती स्यात् तस्य सम्भाषणादपि. Here what we understand is a Vaidya who has not understood the combinations properly, or the examination of the dukhi or the roga or whatever it is, if he has not understood about it properly, and if he just randomly gives some or the other medicine, in this context, even adharmi or papi or when yama could only be entering into naraka just by doing a conversation with such a person, such a Vaidya who has not understood the rogi properly, not understood the roga properly, not examined properly. If he prescribes any medicine, then by just doing a conversation with him, any person can enter into naraka, is what the author says here. Then shloka number 131. Varam ashi visham kvatitam tamramev va पीतम अत्यग्नि संतप्ता भक्षिता वापि अयोगुडाः न तु श्रुतवतां वेशं बिभ्रता शरणागतं Grihitam annam panam va vittam va roga piditat. Any person can, intake varam ashi vishamba. Any very a person can intake any very strong visha, or he can also even intake a completely hot tamra, or he can just gulp this tamra, the liquid tamra, or he can even just uh, he can even intake any loha which is gotten hot red by heating it. He can gulp even that, but he should never take the medicines which are explained or which are prescribed by any murkha vaidya, and then he will have to die, is what the author says here. न तु श्रुतवतां वेषं बिभ्रता शरणागता गृहीतम् अन्नं पानं वा वित्तं वा रोगपीडितात्. Also, the doctor, after prescribing such medicines to any patient, should never take anna or pana or dhana from such particular patient as a return gift or anything as in return. If he prescribes properly, then he is allowed to take anything in return as positive gift. But if he is a murkha vaidya, he is never to be allowed to be taking anything like anna, pana, or vitta if he is a murkha vaidya. This is what the complete chapter at the end, the Acharya says. Next slide, Sneha, please. So, when we understand all of these basic concepts which are explained here in the first chapter of Charaka Samhita, what we understand is all these multiple small concepts are really important. And to become a Vaidya, to become a Uttama Bhishak, we have seen the qualities of Uttama Bhishak here. To reach that goal is a never ending journey. And that is the shloka which is explained in shloka number 133 here, which is Bhishak भिषग्बुभुर्षुर्मतिर्मानतः स्वगुणसम्पदि परं प्रयत्नमातिष्ठेत् प्राणदः स्यात् तथा नृणाम्. A person has to always strive to become a perfect chikitsaka or to become a perfect bhishak with the mindset of helping the manushyas, and he has to always keep trying to increase his confidence levels, to increase his knowledge, and to also be a person who can do pranadana to the suffering manushyas. And then we have the explanation of Bhishak and Bheshaja, which is explained in the shloka number 134. Tadeva yuktam bhaisajyam yadaroghyaya kalpate sachaiva bhishajam shreshto rogebhyo yaha pramochayet. There is Bheshaja and the Bhishak explanation here. The definition is explained here. This could be a 2-mark shloka, a 2-mark question. Yukta Bhaisajyam Arogyaya Kalpate. Any Bheshaja which helps in maintaining the Arogya is called Bheshaja. Sacheva Bhishajam Shreshto Rogebhyo Yaha Pramochayet. A Bhishak is said to be the one who will get rid of the Roga from the Rogi. So, Arogya, any particular dravya which helps in stabilizing the arogya of a person is called bheshaja, and any person who helps in getting rid of the roga from the rogi, he is called bhishak. So in this tatra shloka is something which is explained in every end of every single chapter of Charaka Samhita, which gives a brief topic list of whatever is explained in this particular chapter. So whenever we are supposed to glance through all the concepts of complete Charaka Samhita just before, like on the previous night of exams, just going through this Tatra Shloka of every single chapter will help us to understand whatever the topics are there in that particular chapter. And it's a beautiful place where you can just list out these topics and start analyzing whatever you know and how much you can write about this. If you do not know, you have the chapter, just go through back and then have a good revision about it. So Tatra Shloka is always important in terms of revising the complete Samhita on the previous night of your exams, or whenever you're studying properly to your exams, or practically or theoretically for your viva, anything. So by this we end the first chapter, which is Deerghanjeevithiya Adhyaya. I would like to take up this Vatakalakaleeya Adhyaya, the next slide, the next chapter. Next slide, please. So this is a very, very small chapter which contains maybe about 18 shlokas in total. But these are not in the shloka format. These are not in the couplets format, like two lines in one shloka kind of chapter. But this is a chapter where we have prose kind of explanation. So what we understand here in this chapter is about Vatadi dosha, the Amshamsha Jnana of every doshas of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Amshamsha Jnana is minute detailings of every single dosha is explained in this particular chapter. So that's why it is called Vatakalakaleeya Adhyaya. Kala is the positive side and Akala is the negative side. So it is called Vatakalakaleeya Adhyaya. Next, we have the important thing, which this chapter is in discussion format, a Sambhasha Parishad which happens between multiple people who have good knowledge about the concept about which they are speaking. This is called Sambhasha Parishad. This is not a discussion or a debate or argument kind of thing where everybody have to prove their own kind of things, but they can just give out their opinions and the other person will also let them know their opinion, and then they come to a conclusion of what is the right thing. This is called Sambhasha Parishad. There are different parishads explained and everything, which comes in the Maulika Siddhanta and Ashtanga Hridaya concepts. But here I'm just explaining you that this particular chapter is in the format of Sambhasha Parishad or in the form of discussion. So in this discussion, who all the rishis are involved is Kusha, Kumarashira Bharadwaja, Kankayana, Badisha Dhamargava, Rajarshi Vayorvida, Marichi, Kapya, Agnivesha, and Atreya. These are the rishis which are involved in this Sambhasha Parishad. This could be your AIAPGT question, because there are different Sambhasha Parishads, as in when you start reading Charaka Samhita, you will understand that there were many Sambhasha Parishads which happened, and this particular Sambhasha Parishad contained these many rishis here. So this could also be confusing. So that's why it is majorly asked in the AIAPGT question. But otherwise, for your RGHS examinations, there is no much importance for this, which is required. But all we have to understand is Vayorvida was the person who spoke about Vata, Marichi is the person who spoke about Pitta, and Kapya is the person who spoke about Kapha. Vayorvida has his name Vata itself, Vayu, so he's Vayorvida. He speaks about Vata. Marichi, it's spicy, pungent, and it's Pitta. And Kapya, K for Kapya and K for Kapha. So it's Kapya for who speaks about Kapha dosha. And Atreya and Agnivesha will come to a conclusion of, will explain their own opinions, and then everybody will come into a conclusion that whatever Agnivesha told is the right thing about Tridosha. So Kusha, Kumarashira Bharadwaja, Kankayana, and Bhadisha Dhamargava will give their own opinions about Vata itself, but the person who explains majorly in this whole chapter is Vayorvida about Vata, Marichi about Pitta, and Kapya about Kapha dosha. So in this particular chapter, can I get the next slide, please, Neha? Okay, so this is going to be the last slide of this presentation today, because everything is in the shlokas itself, and shlokas cannot be represented on slides very easily. The factors what are going to be discussed, the points what are going to be discussed in this whole chapter is the gunas of Vata, Prakopakarana of Vata, Upashamana of Vata, what are the causative factors for Upashamana of Vata, explanation of Asanghata and Anavasthita Vata will undergo Prakopa and Prashamana. How Asanghata Vata will undergo Prakopa, Asanghata Vata will undergo Prashamana, Anavasthita Vata will undergo Prakopa, and Anavasthita Vata will undergo Prashamana. And then Kupita and Akupita Vata Karma in Sharira and Asharira, or Laukika Vata or Sharirika Vata, as we call in terms. And the Varnana of Vata, Pitta in its format of Kupita and Anukupita stage, Kapha in its Kupita and Akupita stage. And then there is a conclusion by Atreya, and everybody will accept the Tridosha Siddhanta of Agnivesha. But these are the major points which are explained in this whole chapter. But I would like to give a brief explanation of every single concept here. The gunas of Vata in the fourth shloka of Charaka Samhita, which says Ruksha, Laghu, Shita, Daruna, Khara, Vishada, and these are the Shadgunas of Vata, which is explained in fourth chapter of fourth shloka of 12th chapter, Sutrasthana. Kim Guno Vayuhu, the gunas of Vata are Ruksha, Laghu, Shita, Daruna, Khara, Vishada, 6 gunas of Vata. And then whatever are the Prakopa Karanas are explained here. Samana Gunabhyaso hi Dhatuna Vridhi Karanamiti. Anything which has Samanya Guna and will help or will cause in Prakopa of Vata. For example, the Vata gunas are Ruksha, Laghu. If we have to take an example, Ruksha. If the person continuously intakes any food that is Ruksha in nature or dry in nature, then that will cause Vata Vridhi, because Samana Gunabhyaso hi Dhatuna Vridhi Karanam. Here dhatu is vata, because vata is doshas are considered as dhatus when they are in normal condition. They are named as dhatus because they are supporting the body. So here dhatu does not mean the rasaraktadi dhatus, but here dhatu is vata dosha in its normal condition. Dhatuna vridhi karanam. When this dhatu, which is a normal condition, if it has to increase, then the samana gunabhyasa has to happen, and that is the major cause of vata prakopa here. That is explained by Kusha Maharshi. And then next topic is about upashamana of vata, which is explained by Kumarashira Bharadwaja. He says whatever is the upashamana of vata, whenever there is prakopa, then you have to do something to get that into the balance. अतो विपरीतानि वातस्य प्रशमनानि भवन्ति. प्रकोपण विपर्ययो हि धातूनां प्रशम कारणमिति. Whatever has caused prakopa, the opposite of it will cause prashamana. So say if the person has intaken too much of dry foods, or ruksha guna has increased in his body, thereby leading to vata vridhi, then upashamana is the opposite of ruksha. It is snigdha. You do snehana of the person, include more of snigdha ahara, snigdha vihara, and abhyanga and everything. Snigdhata has to be increased in the body, and that is how the upashamana happens. And this is the second topic which is explained by Kumara Shira Bharadwaja. He explains about upashamana of vata dosha. And then we understand about asanghata and anavasthita vata, which will undergo prakopa and prashamana. Here, what is asanghata vata and what is anavasthita vata? Asanghata vata is that which is amurta. Amurta is which does not have any physical appearance or physical characteristics. Asanghata vata is amurta, and anavasthita vata, it does not have one avastha, it is anavasthita, and that is called chala. So when the vata becomes anavasthita and undergo prakopa, what happens, and what has to be done to get that into prashamana avastha? And when the vata attains anavasthitatva, and when that factor undergoes prakopa, what has to be done for it to be gotten under prashamana level is explained here by Bahlika. Next concept is about Kupita and Akupita Vata Karma in Sharirika and Asharira Vayu. what happens is, in Sharira, Akupita Vata, what happens? In Sharira, Akupita Vata, what is the karma? Asharira Vata, Kupita, what happens? Asharira Vata, Akupita, what happens? So the first thing what we will be looking at is so the first point what we will be looking at is Akupita Vata Karma in Sharira. That is the shloka which starts from Vayus Tantra Yantra Dharaha and ends up in Bhavati Akupitaha. This is Akupita Vata in Sharira. Whatever happens is the list given there. Vayus Tantra Yantra Dharaha, Pranodana Samana Vyana Apanatma, Pravartakas Cheshtanam Utsavachanam, and the shloka goes on. And the next concept what we understand is Kupita Vata in Sharira. That Vayustantra Yantradharaha was Akupita Vata in Sharira, but here it is Akupita Vata in Sharira, which starts from Kupitastu Khalu Sharire Shariram Nana Vidhaihi Vikaraihi Upatapati Balavarna Sukhayuhu Ayusham Upaghatayah Mano Vyaharshayati Sarvendriyanam Uppohati Vinihanti Garbhan Vikritim Aparayati Atikalam Vadharayati Bhayashoka Moha Dainya Ati Pralapanjanayati Pranamstu Uparunadhi. This is the shloka which explains about Kupita Vata in the Sharira. So whatever happens is the list given here. And the next concept is Akupita Vata in Asharira, or the Laukika Vata in Akupita Avastha. I mean, that is in the normal. Akupita is to be in the normal. The normal Vata, if it is Laukika Vata. What happens? This shloka starts from Prakriti Bhutasya Khalu Ekasya Loke and ends at Avaikarika Vikaraha Cheti. This is a small shloka, a small 4 to 5 line shloka which is explained. Prakriti Bhutasya Khalu Ekasya Loke Charataha Karmani Imani Bhavanti Tadyatha Dharani Dharanam Jvalonva Jvalanam Aditya Chandra Nakshatra Grahana Gananam Santana Gati Vidhanam Srishtischa Meghanam Apam Visargaha Pravartanam Srotasam Pushpa Phalanam Cha Abhinirvartanam Udbhedanam Cha Udbhidanam ऋतूनां प्रविभागः विभागो धातूनां धातुमान संस्थान व्यक्तिः बीजाभिसंस्कारः शस्याभिवर्धनम् अविक्लेद उपशोषणो अवैकारिक विकारः च इति. So this is the small shloka which explains about Akupita Vata when it is a Sharira Chara or Bahisharira. And then the next part of the same shloka continues with Kupita Vata and Alaukika Vata. Kupita Alaukika Vata, that is Prakupitasya Khalu Asya Lokeshu Charatah Karmani Imami Bhavanti. That is this is how the shloka starts and ends by telling Chaturyuganta Karanam Megha Surya Anala Anilanam Visargaha. So the normal Vata in Sharira will support the body, and the abnormal or the Kupita Vata in the body will produce the disease and will end up in degenerative processes and will actually destroy the body, is what the author wants to say here, in every single aspect. If it supports in every single aspect of the body, the functioning of the body, in the physical level, in the mental level, in psychological level, everything. But when it is Kupita, it destroys the body similarly, however it has supported in all the factors. Similarly, when the Akupita Vata in the Asharira or in the Laukika Vata, whenever we see, it will support. If there is normal cool breeze, then it's normal Vata, Akupita Vata. But then when there is tornado, that is Kupita Vata. We see that it's supporting the Loka. We also see that it's destroying the Loka. So that's the difference between Kupita and Akupita Vata Karma in Sharira and Asharira. The next shloka is the 8th shloka, which explains about Vayu. Sahi Bhagavan Prabhavashravyayascha Bhutanam Bhava Abhavakaraha Sukha Sukhayor Vidhata Mrityuhu Yamaha Niyanta Prajapatihi Aditihi Vishwakarma Vishwarupaha Sarvagaha Sarvatandranam Vidhata Bhavana Manuhu Vibhuhu Vishnuhu Krantalokanam Vayureva Bhagavaniti. So the conclusion is given as Vayureva Bhagavan. The Vata is itself the Lord. How? Because because the Vata takes care of Bhutanam Bhava Abhavakaraha. He is responsible for the Bhutas to be present or be absent. Sukha Asukhayor Vidata. He is the distributor of Sukha and Asukha. He is himself the Mrityu, Yama, Niyanta, controller, Prajapatihi, the king, Aditihi, the lightning, the light, Vishwakarma, the creator, Vishwarupa, the complete expression of the whole world, Sarvagaha, who is present everywhere, Sarvatantranam Vidhata, who is the controller or the creator of every single mechanism in the whole world, Bhavanam Anuhu, the the smallest of the particle is called Anu, and the Bhava of this Anu is itself the Vata. Vibhu is the superior of everyone. Vishnu, who is the maintainer of the whole world. Kranta Lokanam, who is the destroyer of the Loka. So the whole conclusion of the shloka is Vayureva Bhagavaniti. The whole Vata is itself the Bhagavan of the whole world. This is told by the Rishi Bahlika. And then the next shloka, after listening to all of these, the previous shlokas were told by Vayurveda Rajarshi, and after listening to all of these, Marichi Rishi will tell the ninth shloka here. तच्छ्रुत्वा वायुर्विधवचो मरीचिः उवाच यद्यपि एवमेतत् किमर्थस्य अस्य वचने विज्ञाने वा सामर्थ्यम् अस्ति भिषग्विद्याम् अधिकृत्य कृत्ययं कथा प्रवृत्तेति. This is a question which is proposed by Marichi after listening to the explanation of Vayurveda about the Kupita, Vata, Vayu, Varnana and everything. Maharshi says, whatever you say might be right about Vata, but just by knowing about Vata, a physician is not able to treat, is not able to do chikitsa in his own field, because we are now understanding about Bhishak here. We are not trying to understand anything else. We are now trying to understand about the Bhishak and how he should do a chikitsa. And the chikitsa cannot happen just by controlling Vata. So Vayurveda says, for this question, Vayurveda says, Bhishak pavanam ati balam, ati parusham, ati shighra atyayikam cha etat anushamyet. Sahasa prakupitam ati prayatnatah katham agrebhihi akshitum abhidhasyati prageva enam atyaya bhayat vayor yathartha stutirapi bhavati arogyaya balavarna vivriddhaye varchastu वर्चस्वित् वायोर उपचयाय ज्ञानोपपत्तये परमायुः प्रकर्षयात् चेति. So Vayurveda says, after listening to the Marichi, whatever he says, Vayurveda says now that if the Chikitsaka understands the strongest, Ati Balavan, Atyanta Kathora, everything, whatever is the gunas of the Vata, if he understands that, then he will be able to treat any person who is even having mrityu bhaya. This is the first reason why he has to understand about Vata. And the second reason is why we have listened to the explanation of the Vata Varnana, whatever it can do and whatever it cannot do in Kupita and Akupita condition. When it can do all of these things, why should you not understand about Vata, is what Vayurveda says. So then Marichi says, as a response to this, he explains about Pitta dosha. Agnireva sharire pittantargatah kupita kupitaha shubha shubhani karoti. Likewise, whatever you said about Vata, about the Kupita and Akupita avastha of the Vata, similarly is Pitta, which stays inside the Sharira, Pitta. It will also do Shubha and Ashubha to the body. For example, Pakti and Apakti, digestion and indigestion. Darshana and adarshana, it helps in visualizing and non-visualizing. Matra and amatra of ushma in irregular temperature variations. Prakriti, Vikriti, Varno, normal and abnormal coloration. Shaurya, Bhaya, Krodha, Harsha, Moha, Prasadam, Iti, Evam Adini, Cha Aparani, Dvandvaniti. These are told in duels, Pakti, Apakti, Darshana and Adarshana, like this. They are told in duels. These two are the normal and the abnormal conditions. What can happen if the Pitta is in normal and abnormal condition? This is what the Marichi says. And then later, after hearing to Marichi that he is told about the Pitta, Kapya also feels like explaining about Kapha. So he says, Soma eva sharire shleshma antargataha kupita kupitaha shubha shubhani karoti tadyatha dadhyam shaithilyam upachayam karshyam utsaham alasyam वृषताम क्लीबताम ज्ञानम अज्ञानम बुद्धि मोहम इत्येवम आदीनि च अपराणि द्वंद्वानिति. So this Kapya Maharshi also explains about the dual actions of Kapha in normal and Kupita and Akupita avastha, which says Dardhya and Shaithilya, being strong and loose or weak, Upachaya and Anupachaya, the nourishment and malnutrition, Utsaha, Alasya, having energy and being lethargic, Vrishata and Kibata having proper amount of rejuvenation and undergoing emaciation, Jnana and Ajnana having proper knowledge and improper knowledge, Buddhi and Moha having proper intellect and being unintellectual, etc., etc., are the duels which can happen when the kapha is in the normal and abnormal level. So after listening to Ayurveda, Marichi and Kapya, when they explains about Vata, Pitta and Kapha, about the Kupita and Akupita avastha of the three doshas, Atreya says, Sarva eva bhavantah samyak gahuhu अन्यत्र एकान्तिक वचनात् सर्व एव खलु वातपित्त श्लेष्माणः प्रकृतिभूताः पुरुषम् अव्यापन्न इन्द्रियं बलवर्ण सुखोपपन्नम् आयुषा महतोपपादयन्ति सम्यगेव चरिता धर्मार्थकामा इव निःश्रेयसेन महता पुरुषमिह चामुंश्च लोके विकृतास्तु एनं महता विपर्ययेण उपपादयन्ति ऋतवस्त्रय इव विकृतिमापन्ना lokam ashubhena upaghatakala iti. So after listening to all of these conversations, Maharshi Atreya feels, see, whatever you have told is right about all Vata, Pitta and Kapha, about all the three doshas. When the Purusha is having proper combination of proper normalcy in these three doshas, it is giving him proper amount of energy. It is allowing him to attain his dharma, artha and kama. But when it undergoes into Vikriti, then it has complete Vikriti. It will cause the derangement of the whole body itself. And it will cause Ashubhena Upaghatakala. It will cause Ashubha and it will also cause Upaghata to both Sharira and Asharira or the Loka. So this is what Atreya comes into a conclusion by understanding all of these discussions. He concludes into this. And then all other rishis will also say yes to this. And then the Atreya rishi itself, he says, he destroys all the other statements, whatever was given by Ayurveda telling that Vata is only the great, and Marichi saying Pitta is only great, and Kapya rishi saying Kapha is the only greatest thing. Atreya Maharshi says, no, everything is right, but what we have to understand is whatever has to happen, it has to happen in balance between the three doshas, the Vata, Pitta and Shleshmanaha in Prakriti avastha, Prakriti bhutaha, in the normal condition, in the normal level. If everything happens, then that is what is called the Anavasthita avastha of the Sharira. So this is how Tridosha Siddhanta is explained or propounded in Charaka Samhita. This is a very important question for your 15 mark, where the question could be Tridosha Siddhanta in Charaka Samhita. Then you'll have to explain about the Kupita and Akupita Vatakarma in Sharira and Asharira and Vayu Varnana. And then you'll have to explain about Pitta in Akupita and Kupita Avastha, Kapha in Kupita and Akupita Avastha. And then concluding that Atreya Maharshi is the one who propounded the Tridosha Siddhanta and concluded all the other discussions into Tridosha Siddhanta. So then Atreya Maharshi says, Agnivesha Rishi has already given us, our Guru has already given us the Tridosha Siddhanta. So we congratulate him and we just follow the same thing. Yatha Indra Vachanam Suraha. However, the Indra had told the Tridosha Siddhanta to our Guru, we just accept it and we do not have any other questions, is how the Atreya Maharshi concludes the whole chapter. And then again in the last we have Tatra Shloka, where he has explained about whatever is explained, whatever is mentioned in the whole chapter. So this is all about Vatakalakaleeya Adhyaya, and the Deerghanjeevithiya Adhyaya, whatever we have seen today. So the two chapters covered with very brief explanation and a few examples here and there. So next session will be about Apamarga Tanduliya Adhyaya, which will be tomorrow. We'll be waiting for you at the same time. Hope you'll join us and be ready with Apamarga Tanduliya Adhyaya because it has very much explanation about Yavagu, Peya, and all such explanations here. So that is a major thing which you can expect in AIUPGT examination. Maybe not that important in RGHS examination, but AIUPGT concepts, these are very important. Peyas and Yavagus and Vamana Dravya, Shodhana Dravya, Shamana Dravya, and everything is explained there. Tomorrow we'll be dealing with Apamarga Tanduli Adhyaya. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Sneha. We have concluded the session.